2024. The first item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mike, roll call, please.
David Drake.
Here.
Dan Swafford.
Here.
Steve Hale.
Here.
Zach Michael.
Here.
Pamela Samples. Brian Skaggs.
Here.
Pat Wesolowski. Here.
Okay, the first item on our agenda is approval of minutes for the September 5th meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Does anyone have a conflict of interest about any of the items on our agenda for tonight? Seeing none. So the first item is Resolution 04-2024, recommending an amendment to the Unified Development Ordinance to allow for and regulate pole signs. Denise?
I would ask that the Plan Commission put this matter at the bottom of the agenda to discuss along with future amendments to the Unified Development Ordinance.
Okay.
Have a package.
Do we have a motion to that effect?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our first item of new business, let me say first, since there are some members of the public out here, that the way we will handle these three petitions is that the Planning Department summarizes the petition. We allow the petitioner to speak, and then we have open floor for public comments. Each person is allotted 3 minutes, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you can make your point in 3 minutes for a maximum of 30 minutes. And then we allow rebuttal by the petitioner, and then rebuttal by the public for another total of 3 minutes, for 15 minutes total. So the first item is preliminary plat approval for 2 lots, 151 acres in the Harmon 2-lot subdivision, 7633 West State Road 46. The petitioner is Harmon Farms Land LLC. This is case number PC 24-25. Denise.
Good evening. First on the agenda is a petition, which is a request by Harmon Farms Land LLC for consideration for primary approval of the Harmon 2-lot subdivision primary plat. Subject properties located at 7633 West State Road 46. Applicants requesting primary plat approval for a total of 2 lots totaling 115 acres. Lots are zoned commercial 2, general commercial. Subdivisions accessed from a temporary construction entrance off of West State Road 46. On April 4th, you may recall, the Plan Commission gave pre-approval of the preliminary plat so the developer could obtain a grading permit to begin getting infrastructure in and construct a street connection to Sycamore Drive. To date, grading permits have been issued for the temporary construction entrance off of West State Road 46 and for phase 1 of the subdivision based on the Plan Commission's approval of the preliminary plat referenced in paragraph 4. I want to stress they aren't building on their lots or anything. They're just getting infrastructure in with the grading permit. At some point, a preliminary or primary plat will come before you when they're ready to start construction. The 2-lot subdivision will be divided so that phase 1 of Harmon Farms will be in lot 1, and the remaining property in the parcel will be in lot 2. The developer has a land holding company and a development company, and the subdivision is for tax requirements necessary to their business practices, and I won't even try to explain it. The petitioner's here to explain it. The Tech Review Committee met on September 17th at Town Hall, and there were no comments. Plan Commission action on the primary plat can be in the form of approval, approval with conditions, denial, or to continue the hearing. Plan Commission has the final say in these matters. Staff has no significant concerns with the proposed plat. Therefore, staff recommends that the Plan Commission approve the primary plat for the Harmon two-lot subdivision. And petitioner is present if you have any questions, or he was. Oh, there he is. Yeah.
So just to summarize, we're just dividing the 151 acres into 2 lots.
Correct.
That's all we're doing. Does anybody else from the Planning Commission have any comments or questions for Denise?
And there's the subdivision.
Seeing none, Chris, would you like to come up and tell us who you are, sign in, and tell us what you want to tell us?
Chris Smith. I'm the developer of Harmon Farms. The outline you see is the actual outline of the Phase 1 plat we'll be bringing you in probably 2 months, which will look something like that, only more like a plat. And this is because Harmon Farm Development LLC will actually develop and sell the lots. It's a tax reason, has to do with the S-Corp election. I don't know. I was just told to do it. So that's why we're here. And it's just the 2 lots. And each time we do this, we'll be asking the same thing. When we do the second phase of this, we'll carve out the dimension of it, sell it to the development company, develop it, and then come back with the final plat for that section. And that seems to be the way this will progress, unless somebody tells me something different.
Does anybody from the Plan Commission have any questions or comments for Chris?
And we'll be back probably in November with that plat. Just so you know, somewhere in that range.
Maybe December.
What's that?
Maybe December.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Depends on the weather.
Okay, any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on this development? If so, you need to come up to the podium, sign in, tell us who you are, and you got 3 minutes. Okay, seeing none, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion then. Approval of the division of the 2 lots from 115 down to the section 1 and 2.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, Mike, roll call.
David Drake,
Yes.
Dan Swafford,
Yes.
Steve Hale,
Yes.
Zach Michael,
Yes.
Pamela Samples, Brian Skaggs, Pat Wessolowski.
Okay,
Thank you.
motion carries. The next item on our agenda is primary plat approval for 13 lots, 6.23 acres in the Arvin subdivision. The petitioner is Value Built, case number PC 24-24. Denise.
This petition is requested by Value Built Incorporated for approval of the primary plat for the Arvin subdivision. Subject property is located at 5517 North Union Valley Road. Petitioners requesting primary plat approval for a total of 13 single-family lots totaling 6.23 acres. Parcel was annexed into Ellettsville on August 8th with zoning of R1, single-family residential. Subdivision will be accessed by West Johanna Way. Lots meet all size and dimensional requirements of the Unified Development Ordinance. The Tech Review Committee met on September 17th at Town Hall. Comments received from town departments are attached to your staff report. All items have been or will be addressed by the day of the meeting. A letter of credit will be required to cover any outstanding items prior to recording of the final plat. Plan Commission action on the primary plat can be in the form of approval, approval with conditions, denial, or to continue the hearing. As with the previous petition, Plan Commission has the final say in these matters. It is a staff opinion that the proposed plat will meet all required zoning and subdivision regulations, and there are no significant concerns with the proposed plat. Staff recommends that the Plan Commission approve the primary plat for the Arvin subdivision.
Okay, once again, just to summarize, all we're doing is adding 13 lots to Union Valley subdivision.
So this is Johanna Drive, which will be the main entrance into it, and the parcel has the blue stripes on it.
Okay. Any questions for Denise? Seeing none, would the petitioner like to come up and say something? We're doing the petitioner right now.
Hello, I'm Ernest. I'm with Value Built Inc. This is basically just continuing the dead end of Joanna Drive. The current Arvin house is basically going to be subdivided off into like 3.2 acres to the north. So, any questions?
Anybody have any questions for the petitioner?
Wasn't there some concern about Union Valley access when we talked about this prior?
Yeah, I believe, found out that there isn't any Union Valley access. Can you shed a little bit more light on that?
Currently, there are not any, but we are only adding the additional 12. So under the UDO, we're not adding over the limit.
So the person to the east would have to sell and want to develop it before there could be any further development towards Union Valley.
Correct.
Correct, and he's going to build less than 25 single-family homes, and less than 25 does not require second entrance for the subdivision.
Okay, any more questions for Denise or the petitioner? All right, thank you.
Yep.
Now it's time for public comment. Come up and sign in and tell us who you are if you have a comment.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Terry Bomar, and I live on West Johanna Drive. I wanted to make a comment about from what I understand, there is an easement on my property for this subdivision in order to access sewer. The builder had told my neighbor across the street, who actually sold her property to him, that they were going to dig up our property, chip up our driveways, and they were under no obligation to fix any of the damage that they'd done. If true, I have a very big problem with that, obviously. So I wanted to bring that before the board. The easement that was in place was put in place in, I want to say 2008, when the subdivision was originally being built. So I think that would be a very dated property, as the properties there that are existing are now very established. So I just wanted to bring that to the board's attention. Thank you.
Which property are you?
The one it is borders that, it's 4623 West Johanna Drive.
You'll be one of those two.
It is, yeah, the one, that one that you're pointing at.
Okay.
That information is not correct. When an easement is placed, that means that they can use it, they can tear it up to put in sewer, but they have to put it back the way that it was.
Okay.
So that's not correct. They do have the legal right to use it, but they have to put it back the way it is. And I think maybe the developer is here to answer that question.
I would very much appreciate that being cleared up.
Okay.
So, I apologize if there was any misunderstanding. We purchased the property, or under contract to purchase the property directly to her north, because that is where the sewer is. On her side, there is no sewer main. So the sewer main is only on the north side and sits right here. which is why we purchased that property or agreed to purchase it, so that when we did the work, we would not disturb the homeowner in that house while we were doing the work. And that way we could put everything back and then resell the house. So if we do disturb anything, like, we will put it back. I think there was some miscommunication perhaps on, you heard it from the seller?
I did.
Okay. But that is why we're buying the house, is so that, like, there wasn't, like, it was always gonna get put back, but there would be a period of time, like 1 to 3 days, where there was no driveway that could be accessed while the work was happening, which is, in order to avoid that and then the yard being a mess, we decided to buy the property to make it easier, if that makes sense. On your side, there is a water main, but it is past your driveway and sits at the edge of your property. So, like, nothing major should happen on your side of the street, and everything would be within the easement. Does that clear up any? Okay.
Is there anybody else?
I also would like to add, there will be an inspection process throughout the work, so.
Kevin Housel. And I just wanted to really get an idea what was going on. The driveway where he's coming down to, which that easement there, which it's actually, I thought, across my dad's property. I know they got the easement line past that driveway. I don't know how accurate that is. But, so my understanding is that Arvin's house is just, that's gonna be the only house there. They're not putting houses beside his house or anything, and our driveway's not gonna be disturbed in any way. Cause we got the gravel drive that goes down, and I cut across, I got 11 acres back there.
He kind of lost me, so maybe you can.
Yeah, I think we discussed it.
So basically, the only section we're on is from here down. All of his stuff is still gonna be his and unchanged.
So Arvin's is just pretty much staying
Yeah,
the same.
and he's not selling his house. Yeah,
Okay.
so he's not selling
Not
it,
selling his
he is
house.
not, he's only selling the field.
Okay.
Now, the easement's north of the property.
So they will.
Nothing's
stay
changed,
in-
yeah.
stay in order. Okay. But I would, since I'm here, say that they really need to take a really good look at Union Valley Road as we keep building, and that road is terrible. And I mean, we come out our driveway, you know, I mean, it's, in the past years, it's just amazing how much it's changed, how much, you know, you got to sit there and wait when used to, you know, there's nobody there, and the road's just falling apart.
Well, it's also caught in a bureaucratic territorial border where these houses in this subdivision are in the town of Ellettsville.
Yeah.
Union Valley Road is not.
It's
It is
county.
a county road, so we don't really have a lot of control over the county road. But this is gonna be 15 more, was it 15 or 12 more houses? 12.
12.
So hopefully that won't add too much
It's not,
more.
yeah, that's not going to be a tremendous amount, but I know they've had some development that they wanted to do a few years back that got kind of shut down because of that.
And that seems to be pretty much a problem everywhere. The
Yeah.
roads aren't big enough to handle the traffic.
All right, I just
Okay.
wanted to see what was going on.
All right, thank you.
I do want to add in tech review, Kip Hetty, the street commissioner, conveyed to the petitioner that he wanted the maintenance bond on the streets for Johanna and it's either Andrea or Nestle Down, whatever the main road is. And the petitioner did agree to provide a bond for those streets.
Okay. I didn't see anyone else from the public. Okay. Do planning commission members have any more or any questions or comments? Seeing none, we're ready for a motion. I'll start it off. I will move approval of PC 24-24, the Arvin subdivision.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Mike?
David Drake.
Yes.
Ian Farmer.
Yes.
Steve Hale.
Yes.
Jack Michael.
Yes.
Pamela Samples.
Yes.
Brian Skaggs.
Yes.
Pat Wazalowski.
Yes.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is a zoning map amendment request from agricultural 1 to industrial 1, light industrial, for 5 parcels, 343 acres, located on West Flatwoods Road and North Starnes Road. The petitioner is Digital Resources Acquisitions LLC, case number PC-24-26. Denise.
This petition, excuse me, is a request by Digital Resource Acquisitions LLC to rezone 5 parcels totaling 343 acres and formerly known as the Umbarger parcels from A1 agricultural to I1 light industrial. Subject parcels are located at West Flatwoods Road, North Starnes Road, and 6140 North Starnes Road. Petitioner will be constructing a technology park on all 5 parcels. It is anticipated there will be 5 to 6 buildings. It will house 10 to 20 employees per building, and there will not be a lot of traffic on a daily basis to the buildings. Buildings will be designed in accordance with the requirements of the Unified Development Ordinance. 3 parcels are bordered by Monroe County on 3 sides, and to the east they are bordered by Commercial 2, General Business, Residential 1 with a commercial use, Agricultural 1 with a residential use, and Industrial 1, light industrial. 2 of the parcels are bordered by Monroe County to the south, Industrial 1 to the north, Commercial 2, which will have single-family, multifamily, and Commercial, which is Harmon Farms, Chris Smith subdivision, when approved, and Monroe County to the south. I'll go over the required findings. The comprehensive plan, the change of zoning is substantially in compliance with the existing comprehensive plan. The Ellettsville Comprehensive Plan designates the area west of Ellettsville as a West Side Business Park or District, which includes industrial zoning. The intent of light industrial zoning is to provide for low-intensity, light and medium-intensity industrial activities that are not visible from a public street and are compatible with surrounding zoning districts. Number 2, current conditions. The change in zoning is based on the current conditions of the property and the surrounding character of the land. Primary reason for Industrial 1 zoning is recommended for the subject property is located on the western edge of Ellettsville due to the property zoning of Industrial 1 is potential, boy, I made that a long sentence, and the potential of other properties that will have similar mixed uses. For example, there is a potential for Smithville Communications north of the parcels to develop a project that is compatible with the subject parcel. Number 3, use of the property. The change in zoning does result in allowance of the most desirable use of the property. Designation of Industrial 1 zoning aligns with the Ellettsville Comprehensive Plan for a West Side Business District with industrial zoning. 4, conservation of property values. The use or value of adjacent properties and those throughout the town will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The rezoning of the property Industrial 1 should have no effect on neighboring properties along State Road 46, which are either underdeveloped, residential, industrial, or commercial. Single-family homes to the east may require a buffer from any development, but should not otherwise be harmed by a mixed-use property with Industrial 1 zoning. 5, responsible development. The change in zoning does promote the responsible development and growth of the property. As stated in the Ellettsville Comprehensive Plan, this section of Ellettsville is best suited for a business center. Pursuant to the Unified Development Ordinance, L1 Light Industrial provides for a low-intensity, light and medium-intensity industrial activities that are not visible from a public street and are compatible with surrounding zoning districts. Light industrial zoning will cultivate responsible development and growth of the parcels. Plan Commission action we're requesting tonight shall be in the form of a favorable, unfavorable, or no recommendation to Town Council, which takes final action on the zoning map amendment petition. The change in zoning of this parcel from agricultural 1 to L1 light industrial zoning aligns with the comprehensive plan and meets the requirements under the Unified Development Ordinance. Therefore, staff recommends a favorable recommendation be forwarded to the Town Council to amend the zoning for the parcels outlined in paragraph 1 from A1 to light industrial. And sorry, my one sentence was a little mixed up when I went to read it. So I put on some maps. So the yellow stripes, of course, are the Umbarger parcels, and this is the surrounding zoning. And this is the surrounding use of the properties. And this is our zoning map that just shows part of that. It doesn't show the other Umbarger parcels. But all the Umbarger parcels have been annexed into Ellettsville. And petitioners are present if you have any questions.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Denise from the Planning Commission? Seeing none, would the petitioner like to come up and make a statement? Sign in and tell us your name.
Hi, I'm Greg Bolin. I represent Digital Resources Acquisitions, LLC, on this project.
Is there?
So was there a question? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Oh, no, I just, normally you just kind of tell us what you're
Okay.
asking for.
What we're looking at there is a technology park with 5 to 6 buildings with high-paying jobs, and probably, I would say anywhere from 50 employees in that area, along with the construction and the tax base. That's pretty well sums it up. I mean, it's a technology park, and the fiber's there and the electricity's there that we need to do the facility.
The fiber's already there? Wow.
Pardon?
The fiber's already.
The fiber is very close, yes.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Bolin?
Have you got any of the properties sold for the technology?
Have we what?
Have you got any buildings proposed right now for it?
He's asking if you had any of the properties sold.
No, we do not. We have several in the process right now in other areas. We work with a company. We work with a company out of Florida that works with technology parks and the development. We are the land. We work with the land development and the building construction on the properties. And then they will come in and work with we get it to a white box situation, and they come in and take it from that point.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I have something for more or less Denise, I guess. I mean, this area is designated as being future business park, which might come as a great surprise to the people who thought they lived out in the county, or out in the country. So I noticed that really the only two things I can see here, this house at 6465 North Starnes Road is really close to the boundary of the Umbarger farms. And then there is another.
Is that Vegas?
That is Fishman. But then there's Vegadus that is also kind of bordering the east side of it. Do we need to try to make some type of conditions of approval at this point, or is that too soon to just make sure that we do not severely impinge on their residential areas with the business park, I guess?
It's too soon, in my opinion, because they will have to come before you with development plan approval. So you can look at where the buildings are positioned, but I would recommend, as I did in my statement, buffering for all residential.
Okay. But we will address that at the development plan.
Yes, and I
stage.
think the petitioners, when they get their plans together, they'll come in and they'll also have to go through tech review, but I don't think they'll have any problem with buffering with the residential.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? Okay, seeing none, it's time for public comment. Come up and sign in, tell us your name, and you got 3 minutes. You can't come back, we've already seen you.
I just want to say I'm excited to see employment base. Love the concept, would like to see a plan, but I'm just letting, as the neighbor to the east, that's exciting for me to see that there's employment base coming in, people coming in to get good jobs. That's all I want to say. I like it.
All
I'll
right.
sign in twice.
Anybody else?
So I'm Norm Wampler, I live out on Stearns Road. I don't know if this is I ain't got any comments, but I got questions. Maybe it's for the next meeting we'll have on this or something, but so you mentioned this future business park. I had no idea of that. So how would someone who lives out there, get to see this plan or know about this plan? Is that whole area planned, like on the other side of Flatwoods? Is that whole area planned to be developed at some point in time?
That's Monroe County's jurisdiction, and on the other side,
Well, he said it was like a future business park. I'm just, what's the boundaries of that?
Right now,
Right.
the boundaries are what are shown in the yellow.
No, I know what's being sold.
Yeah.
I'm talking, you said that whole area is a future business park.
that's
Like-
in our comprehensive plan. So that's a guideline for us, and it's an important tool to have responsible zoning and for the town, and designate different areas so it meets with our requirements in our comp plan.
Yeah, but is there a place I can see that plan? Can I?
It's online.
It is? Mm-hmm. Okay. And I don't have any idea, like semis or traffic, can Stearns Road handle all that?
In talking to them, the reason they're getting light industrial zoning is because they won't have a lot of traffic, but has with value built, they'll probably have to post a bond for maintenance of the street and improvements.
Okay. What about, is there sufficient electricity, water, sewer? Is all that out there already?
The water's in the works. The town's doing a sewer plan at this time, which will address that area.
Okay.
So when everything's ready, they'll come in front of the Plan Commission to discuss their plans then.
Okay. What about the McCormick's Creek tributary that runs underneath the bridge? Is that going to be, disturbed or shut off, or?
So when they start working on their lots and their engineering, they'll have to do some drainage studies and hydrological studies, and they will take great care of that tributary.
Well, all I know is when Key built in, it flooded us every time it rained until they finally got it right. And the only way
Correct.
they got it right was me calling them out on it. So
Okay.
just,
Well,
I
this
don't
is-
want to be flooded again. It flooded our septic tank. It flooded everything out there.
This is just the first step in a very long.
Well, I know, but I
process.
live out there and it's going to affect me greatly. So, yeah, I guess that's all I had.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Next.
Good evening. My name's Clark Greiner. I'm with the Bloomington Economic Development Corporation. I wanted to put my support behind the initial rezone of this to a light industrial. And I think for some of the reasons that Ms. Line stated, it's consistent with the comprehensive plan. It's consistent with Envision Ellettsville. And I think this is really kind of a first step. It's also a, when you look at what the town of Ellettsville has done with establishing a redevelopment commission as part of that opportunity for positive economic development. And I think with this, I think it will help from an overall economic development perspective with regards to being able to attract businesses and to be able to help improve or enhance the tax base. And this is also something, as we look at this, it will help as we start to identify maybe where some TIF districts may go to actually, again, help with some of that development and address some of the questions on how we enhance the infrastructure around that area for future development. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none, we're ready for a motion.
I'll motion for a favorable recommendation of PC 2426 zoning map amendment petition.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Mike, roll call.
David Gray.
Yes.
Dan Swafford.
Yes.
Steve Hale.
Yes.
Zach Michael.
Yes.
Pamela Samples.
Yes.
Brian Skaggs.
Yes.
Pat Wazalowski.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is the resolution 4-2024, I believe.
Yes, as the planning commission discussed,
Hey, guys, can we kind of hold it down back there? The acoustics in this room are really bad, and we
As-
can,
as the planning commission discussed at its last meeting, and as the town council has discussed at some of its meetings, there are some things that we would like to clear up with regard to the Unified Development Ordinance. And I believe the Plan Commission at its last meeting asked me to look at pole barns and come up with some regulations to get those back in the code as being permitted but regulated. So what I came up with was a resolution to recommend an amendment to the Unified Development Ordinance, and you have that sample in front of you. You are not going to be able to pass this evening because you have to go through the same procedure to amend a zoning ordinance as you do to pass the initial zoning ordinance or for a rezone, and that means that you have to publish notice in the paper of a public hearing. So I asked Denise to go ahead and put this on the agenda, even though you couldn't vote on it tonight, to get the Plan Commission's thoughts about whether or not, one, you like the format that I came up with, because the code doesn't say, the Indiana code doesn't say the Plan Commission has to be wedded to any particular format. It just says, if you have a proposal for amending an ordinance, you can make a proposal. I just put it in the form of a resolution. It can probably be done different ways, and I thought it would be helpful for you to see the ordinance that would go to the town council, so you see the exact language that the council would be looking at. And I also wanted to get the Plan Commission's thoughts on how you wanted to handle amendments from here on out. Do you want to have a meeting to discuss it and then pass it at the next meeting after public notice, which means it's going to take you 2 meetings for every amendment? Or would you like to have Denise and I come up with amendments, do the public notice or publish notice in the newspaper, and then you consider it at a meeting? If you're happy with it, great, you can pass it in 1 meeting. If you're not, you can always table it until I get the language right. So 2 things, do you like the format? And 2, do you want to discuss amendments at 2 meetings? Or are you comfortable with me coming up with something after you've made a request for a change and discussing it at 1 meeting after notice has been published in the paper, of course?
for me, however you want to do the format is fine, and
Okay.
I choose B.
Okay.
Was B the
B was, have you guys talk about it, present it to us, and
Okay.
One
pass it
meeting
if we're ready to. If not, we'll send it back for revisions.
Okay, thank you.
I think that'd be better than dragging it out. Two different meetings, especially if it's just like one ordinance. It's not like it's a whole big thing.
If it-
We need 2 meetings to talk.
Yeah, I mean, if it's simple, we can just get it done with. If it's not simple, we can bring it back at the next meeting.
Plus, we're already making the request to you, right?
Yes,
We're telling you
about
what
the,
we want, you put it together, and then we vote on it.
yeah, full sign.
And if it goes to the town council, can they pass it that night at their meeting?
They can pass it at the next meeting by statute. Zoning ordinances do not require two readings of the ordinance.
Okay.
So yes, they could pass it at their next meeting.
Okay, well, I think you got your
Okay.
answer.
Thank you.
Do you want to go ahead and discuss the changes to the pool sign portion, or?
If you are inclined, do you want to give me some direction on the pole sign? It does say under table 4.13, 8 feet in height, which is nowhere near correct. It's going to be no more than 26 feet in height. But I think everything else that you see in that chart that I have put into table 4.13 is was in the code before it was repealed. And the permitted districts is the same as it was in 152 or 153, so.
Well, it looks beautiful to me.
Well, thank you. The first 2 or 3 I figured would be rather labor intensive and awkward just because we haven't really done this before. But once we get this streamlined, I think it will be fine. And I'm still learning how to work with the document that Taylor Seeker provided us to get in there and make the changes. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes you have to tinker with it a bit to get everything in there.
This is the projecting sign. Is that also like LED, like kind of like the LED signs you see that just constantly rotate or flip, or is that a different?
Projecting in the old code meant it hung out, like there'd
Okay.
be the building edge and then it would go past.
Is there going to be anything included for signs like that, like the billboard type signs, where you can like rent space, you see them in other places, or is that covered in something else?
I don't have the code with me. I thought there was something in there about maybe the candle power and things for that. I'll have to look and see. Been focused on pole signs.
Okay, any other comments or questions about the sign resolution? Okay, seeing none. Denise, we're ready for planning department update, I believe.
I'm flipping through all these, but that's my update. November 7th, I may or may not have new business for that meeting. I'll let you know. Well, yeah, I will. I'll have the PUD, yeah.
And I will be participating by Zoom from the beach in Florida.
Oh, wow.
So, Fort Myers, well, yeah.
Is it still
Fort
there?
Myers. It's, as far as I can tell, yes.
Should we just take the planning commission there and
Oh, yeah, sure.
we can
I
have it
rented a
there?
house, you can all come down.
All right.
But that's all I have.
Okay, any planning commission comments? I don't see any audience left for the privilege of the floor.
What do you call John and the young lady next to you?
They're just regulars. They don't count.
I don't think they much care.
They're just here because they have to be. Okay, no plan commission comments. We're adjourned.